Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something pretty universal: virtual meetings.
Oh, yeah. The ones that can sometimes feel like, well, a bit of a drag.
Exactly. How do we make them less draining and, more useful? That's our mission today. We're pulling out practical strategies from a workshop recording.
Right. Stuff you can use right away, whether you're running the show or just participating.
We'll be digging into the techniques, the actual exercises they did, and what people thought in real time.
Yeah, the source is this recording of a workshop called Conquer Zoom Fatigue. So we're getting it straight from the session, hearing the leader and the attendees.
It's like we get to be flies on the wall.
Pretty much. And what's interesting is hearing not just what the advice, but the how. How people reacted, what clicked, what maybe didn't.
Absolutely. So look, if you've ever zoned out in a virtual meeting or felt like, why am I even here? Or wished more people would actually speak up,
Uh-huh.
then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're trying to cut past the theory and get straight to concrete tactics.
Things you can try in your very next meeting.
Okay, let's get into it. The workshop kicked off by hitting on something we all kind of instinctively know. Engagement in virtual meetings can be low.
Yeah, really low sometimes.
Right.
The leader mentioned an average participation rate of just like 20%.
20%. That's not great.
Not at all. And then there's the constant temptation, email, other work, just distractions.
Right. And that feeling that you're just consuming information, not really contributing anything.
And they put some numbers on it too, which are pretty eye-opening.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like something around $400 billion lost every year because of bad meetings.
Wow. That's a huge number.
It is. And then like 55% of people apparently think most meetings are a waste of time, and only 11% are actually felt to be productive.
So it's not just us feeling this way. It's a massive, widespread issue, a huge drain.
A huge drain on time, energy, money, the works.
And it's not just the hour in the meeting, right? It's that feeling afterwards.
Exactly, the recovery time. You finish a bad meeting, and you're just not ready to jump into deep work. You kind of need to decompress.
Totally. So, okay, the workshop didn't just dwell on the problem, right? They moved into solutions.
Thankfully, yes. They started with something relatively simple, actually, implementing a check-in at the start of the meeting.
A check-in. Okay, so like going around saying how you are.
Sort of, but framed more strategically. They talked about it boosting psychological safety.
Ah, that term. Making people feel safe to speak up.
Precisely. Which, they argued, leads to real benefits, like a potential 12% bump in engagement.
Okay.
Almost guaranteed 100% participation, at least for that check-in moment.
Gets everyone's voice in the room, literally right at the start.
Yeah. And they also said it makes it twice as likely you'll end up with a clear action plan from the meeting.
Interesting link there.
And even a 30% reduction in that meeting fatigue we were just talking about.
Wow, okay. So pretty compelling reasons. What did these check-ins actually look like?
Well, they gave simple examples, like asking, what's your one word to describe how you're showing up today? Quick, low stakes.
Right.
But then they did something more experiential in the workshop itself, an exercise called Grab an Object.
Grab an object. How did that work?
People just had to quickly find something nearby, ideally something unique, and then briefly share what it was.
Okay, I can see how that might be more engaging than just a word.
Yeah, it was quite fun hearing the examples. We had Christina with her floss picks. Very practical.
Oh,
Brian shared some tiny product he was working on. Julie had a cheese head.
a cheese head, like for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, although she admitted she wasn't even a fan. Just thought it was unique.
That's funny.
And Zinger shared a plushie shaped like a dumpster fire.
Oh, wow. I think many of us can relate to that feeling some days.
Right. But the point wasn't really the object itself. It was about creating this quick moment of human connection, learning something small and personal, super lighthearted.
Takes the pressure off, maybe, compared to a work-related question.
Exactly. It lowers that barrier to speaking up early. And one attendee, Christina, actually mentioned that.
What did she say?
She said she preferred the object exercise over questions like, what's one thing that would make this meeting worth your time?
Oh, interesting. Why?
Because those kinds of questions can feel a bit awkward or forced, especially if it's a meeting you have to be in anyway.
Yeah, I can see that. Puts you on the spot. The object thing feels lighter.
Much lighter. And a good tip they added was to rotate who leads the check-in each time.
Ah, shares the load, brings different energy. Nice.
Yeah. So check-ins seem small, but they can really shift the whole dynamic right from the start.
Okay, makes sense. What came next after check-ins?
They moved on to something called liberating structures.
Liberating structures. Sounds liberating.
Ah, well, that's the idea. They're basically a collection of interaction patterns or facilitation techniques designed to include and engage everyone.
Okay, like specific formats for discussions.
Exactly. The presenter pointed people to liberatingstructures.com as a resource, which has tons of these,
Good resource to know.
and they focused on two specific ones in the workshop. The first one they actually did with the group, called TRIZ, T-R-I-Z.
Triz. What's that?
Sounds a bit unusual.
It is. It's basically a reverse brainstorm.
Verse brainstorm. So instead of asking how to make something better,
You ask how to make it worse. In this case, the question was, how can we make virtual meetings as unproductive and soul-sucking as possible?
huh, okay, I like that already. Feels less intimidating somehow.
Totally. And they did it rapid fire. 4 minutes, aim for 40 ideas.
Wow, fast pace. What kind of things came up?
Oh, all the classics. People talking over each other constantly.
Yep.
Slides packed with tiny text. No agenda, or a useless agenda.
Hmm?
The leader just talks the whole time. People obviously multitasking. You can hear keyboards clacking.
Or see the eyes darting around.
Exactly. Background noise, pets, kids, meetings going way over time. Tech fails, slides not working.
The usual suspects.
Someone even threw in threats and oversharing for good measure. Okay, gets a bit dark there, but fun. So what's the point of generating all that negativity?
Well, it surfaces all the stuff that people are often thinking but maybe not saying. Then the crucial follow-up question is, okay, looking at this list, which of these things do you actually see happening on our team?
Ah, okay. Makes it real. Did people share?
Yeah. Christina mentioned the talking over each other issue and just not enough time for everyone to give input.
Common problem.
Brian brought up having people in the meeting who didn't really need to be there, the classic, this could have been an email situation.
Right. So Triz helps diagnose the real problems in a kind of roundabout, less confrontational way.
Exactly. It gets the unspoken stuff out there. It provides a shared list of things to potentially stop doing.
Okay, I see the value there. What was the other liberating structure they mentioned?
It's called 1, 2 for all.
1, 2 for all. Sounds like a sequence.
It is. It's very structured. First, everyone spends 1 minute thinking alone and jotting down ideas about a specific question. 1 minute silent reflection.
Okay, individual time first.
Then, step 2. People pair up for 2 minutes. They share their individual ideas and maybe refine them a bit together.
One-on-one.
Step 3. The pairs join up to form groups of 4. They get 4 minutes to discuss, build on ideas, find common themes.
Okay, small group discussion.
And then finally, you bring everyone back together, the all part, to share the most important insights or ideas that emerge from the groups of 4.
Got it. 1 minute alone, 2 minutes in pairs, 4 minutes in fours, then share with everyone.
Precisely. It's a way to rapidly iterate on ideas and ensure absolutely everyone participates.
What kind of question would you use this for?
Well, the workshop leaders suggested hypotheticals like, what's one small change we could make to how we work remotely that would help us feel more connected? Or maybe, how can we make our weekly team meetings better?
So focused questions that benefit from diverse input.
Definitely. And the benefits they listed were pretty compelling. It basically guarantees 100% participation at every stage.
Because everyone has to think, then talk in pairs, then talk in fours.
Right. No hiding. You apparently get 4 times more voices heard compared to just opening the floor for discussion.
Makes sense. Avoids the loudest voices dominating.
Yeah, you get more diverse perspectives, usually better ideas emerge, the meetings feel more engaging, and because people were involved in generating the ideas, you get better alignment on decisions too.
That sounds incredibly useful. Did the attendees seem keen on this one?
Yeah, the reaction seemed positive. Brian liked the clear structure. Zinger saw how it could build engagement progressively. And Sarah made a great point. She appreciated that initial solo thinking time, said it stopped people from just, like, word vomiting, half-formed ideas, gave everyone a chance to think first.
Yeah, that 1 minute of quiet reflection sounds golden, actually. Avoids groupthink right at the start.
It really does. So 1, 2 for all seems like a powerful tool to make participation much more systematic and inclusive.
Okay, so we've got check-ins to start, well, liberating structures like Triz and 1, 2 for all for the main discussion. What about ending meetings? That often feels rushed or fizzles out.
Yeah, they covered that too. Closing effectively. First point was simple, but crucial. Respect time boundaries. Finish on time.
Here, here, such a basic courtesy, but easily missed.
So true. And they suggested using a checkout, similar to the check-in.
Okay, how does that work?
Could be a quick round asking, what's one thing you're taking away? Or the leader summarizing the key decisions and next steps clearly.
Just brings it to a focused close.
Exactly. And critically, nailing down the action items.
Ah, yes. The so what happens now part.
Right. Making sure they're clearly defined, assigned to a specific person, and have a deadline. They mentioned using the agenda as a guide for this and suggested that who, what, when framework.
Who does what by when? Simple, clear.
Yep. And we heard from Sarah again here. She shared her practice.
Oh, yeah. What does she do?
After the meeting, she emails out the agenda again, but this time with all the agreed action items, the owners, and the due dates filled in.
Oh, that's smart. Reinforces everything and creates that paper trail for accountability.
Exactly. It
Yep.
makes sure the conversation actually translates into concrete action. It prevents that feeling of, well, that was a nice chat, but did anything actually get decided?
Yeah, strong close makes the whole meeting feel more purposeful.
Definitely. Brings it all together.
Okay, so wrapping this up for you, the listener, the big takeaway here seems to be that virtual meetings don't have to be energy vampires.
Not at all. By being intentional, using simple structures like check-ins to connect people,
And using things like liberating structures TRIZ to uncover issues, one, two for all, to get everyone contributing.
you can really make a significant difference in engagement and, honestly, just make meetings more productive and less painful.
So an actionable next step for you. Maybe try one of the check-in ideas in your next team meeting. The object one sounds fun and low risk.
Yeah. Or if you're feeling bolder, maybe suggest using 1-2 for all for your next brainstorm or problem-solving session. Even a small structural change can have a big impact.
Absolutely. And here's maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider, for a moment, the total number of hours you and your team spend in meetings every week. It's probably a lot.
Uh-huh. Often more than we realize.
So what if you could make even, say, 10 or 20% of that time more productive, more engaging, less draining? What difference would that make?
To your team's results, sure, but also just to everyone's day-to-day well-being and, job satisfaction.
Exactly. So the question is, what small experiment are you willing to run in your next meeting to start finding out?
Something to think about.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.